Hi there, I'm Melainie Rogers.
I'm Jennifer Krayat-Sulis.
And we're here today to talk about motherhood and recovery. And the first topic that we're going to cover today is what's hard about becoming a mum. And we'll weave in also the part around our own recoveries. But if I may start, Jen, we were just speaking off camera, and I was saying how for me, I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I was an older mum. In fact, I think they called me a geriatric pregnancy when I got pregnant. I was 43. Can you believe it? I think that was the word they used, geriatric.
That's
anyway,
so much worse than advanced maternal
I
age.
was just like, okay, whatever. Anyway, so what I wanted to say is that I was very deliberate about becoming a mum. It was something I had wanted for a long time and had given a lot of thought to. So when I did actually fall pregnant, I was absolutely ecstatic. And then I had my little girl who was very healthy, and all things were good. And then I just went into a black hole. I could not believe how hard it was. First 6 to 12 weeks, I really felt like I nearly lost my mind. And it was such a difficult time, because this was something becoming a mum was something I was supposed to be ecstatic about, and I thought I was going to be ecstatic about it. And the reality was that it was really, really humbling, really, really hard, exhausting. I felt like I was suffocating. Lack of sleep. I also developed postpartum, which totally distorts that experience, and it's such a horrible thing to go through. And quite frankly, in those first 12 weeks, I really thought that I had made the biggest mistake of my life, and I had ruined my life. So we're here today to speak really honestly about what it can feel like becoming a mum, and then trying to balance that with recovery and keeping yourself balanced and healthy. So over to you, Jen, if you want to tell us a little bit about your experience and why it's so hard.
Well, first I want to say I can so relate to what you were saying. I can actually feel it in my body, just that feeling of confusion and exhaustion, and a feeling of being lost. In my experience, I just became so lost to myself. In fact, I remember someone asking me, "Oh, what do you like to do?" And my brain froze. I literally could not answer that question. I have become so disconnected from what I like, what my passions are, what I enjoy. I just didn't even know anymore. I wasn't living my life.
Jen, was that the same for both of your pregnancies, or more with the first?
It was the same with both.
Wow.
Although it was worse with my second, because afterwards I also had pretty severe postpartum. I had postpartum with my first, but the second one had a little bit of a different nature, partly because I was engaged in a relapse, my eating disorder. And after, one of the gifts of that relapse was learning about how important it is as mothers that we remember that we are also human beings, that we have likes and passions, and we have things that are important to us that doesn't take away from how much we love our children or how devoted we are to them. Right. But our personal upkeep, our personal connection with ourselves is so vital. And when we don't have that, we fall on our default, which for me definitely was my eating disorder. It was the only thing that I had that was my own.
Wow.
Right? My every waking moment was devoted to changing diapers, breastfeeding, keeping the house going. And even though I did that with an open heart, that's what I chose, inside it was, to use your word, Melainie, suffocating.
Yeah, big shock. And we were talking about the postpartum piece, and I now know of, there's a new facility here in New York actually that offers a full-time day program for women during pregnancy and also immediately after, where you can go and spend the whole day there with therapists and other mums, and they'll help you through the postpartum. I wish that had been available when I was going through it, because you're at home all day, usually alone.
Yes.
And then your support person or husband or whomever might be there, if you have someone in your life comes in after work at night and they're tired and they're working, so I felt a strong need to do the night feedings as well as the day feedings, and you just spiral. Like, it's a really, really, really scary time. And Jen and I were also talking about the fact that, you know, we also live in these nuclear families. You know, I'm originally from Australia, so my whole family's back in Australia, and so they weren't able to be around a lot, though my sister did fly out, thank God, and spent about 10 days with me, which was just unbelievable. And the day that she left to go back to Australia, I broke down sobbing on the street corner as she got into a taxi, because I was like, don't go. I was in such a dark, dark place, you know. But we were talking about how with the expectations we put on ourselves, I thought every other woman who's ever had a kid has managed this and handled it. So what the heck is wrong with me that I am having such a hard time? This must be my fault and something that is my problem. And the reality is that many, many, many women out there are actually struggling, but no one is saying anything. And I think we don't say anything because, again, we're supposed to just say, I'm euphoric, it's the most amazing, life-changing experience of my life, and I'm so, so happy. And nothing's further from the truth, especially when you're going through postpartum. I mean, it's a joyous, wonderful thing to have this beautiful little creature in your life, but holy shit, it's hard.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, we just want to assure you that if you're in a hard place and you're carrying a lot of guilt around that, we want you to know that it's okay.
Yeah.
You can still love your child and be a fantastic mother and have these feelings as well.
Absolutely.
So you're not alone. And that's a big message that you're going to hear us repeat over the next several videos.
And I would end on that note, Jen, by saying get some support. There are mums groups out there. Get family around you. Get friends around you. I ended up getting a nanny to support me much sooner than going back to work. I just needed someone there with me during the day. So whatever it takes. And I guess what we're trying to do, as Jen said, is reduce the shame around that. Because again, I felt so ashamed that I wasn't handling something that most women can do. And that's actually not the reality. So hopefully that will give you a little bit of hope or a little bit of confidence to reach out for help if you need it.